Hello, my wonderful friends. How are you doing? And it is Sanjay and my lovely daughter. Can I call her my daughter? Right? She is, in a way. Sadie. She's my precious little princess. Just one of my many precious princesses. And what I wanted to talk about is fasting. And again, this is a disclaimer. This is not replacing any medical advice. This is not, you need to go see a doctor, nutritionist, and other healthcare professional. You need to do what you need to do. Do your own due diligence. But I like experimenting on myself, and I also like studying fasting and spiritual and psychological well-being. And I'm not going to find a guinea pig anywhere else. So I thought I would do it on myself. But I also wanted to give you a little bit of my background so you can see where I'm coming from. Well, I teach various social and behavioral science courses, and I also worked in the nutritional field. I was pre-med, and I've been studying over the years health and wellness. And I've been studying what it is that people are doing to feel better. And I gotta tell you, this raw organic foods movement is pretty exciting. But like even then, while I didn't really know too much about this, but I started getting into this maybe about 13 years ago. And there was a period where I lived out, in California. I lived with my brother, was my younger brother, who's also into psychology, health and wellness, and yoga, and all of these things. What's interesting is we were always into. There would be weekends where we would, it's the Californian thing to do. You know what I mean? I love it. Well, the Bay Area is wonderful for this. So I used to drink a lot of water, and I would use honey, lemon juice, and I know there are variations, and there's the Master Cleanse diet and all these other things. And I want to say something about diet in a moment, but as far as fasting goes, I really like it, and this is day one, and actually the end of day one, and I'll share with you my observations, and I don't know if you'll find anything helpful, but again, this is not replacing any professional advice that you would need to seek out outside of this video. So what I did was I was a little nervous, about doing it after because it's been a while, but what I noticed in my case was just in 24 hours, 23 hours. I actually felt a sense of clarity. You get it. You do have, I feel headaches, but a lot like my breathing has improved, my skin has improved. One thing I want to share that I don't really see in the other videos on the subject, and I just like reviewing and staying in touch with just the community and seeing on YouTube what people are talking about, an exfoliate brush, something like this. It's very important. What it is you got to be careful, but again, talk to a dermatologist or other professional. But what's nice is after throughout your fasting process, it's important to exfoliate and drink. You're excreting in many ways. Your skin is your largest organ that is excreting everything anyway. So the excreting is important. So the one thing I also wanted to say too, in addition to that, although they say you got to watch the chemicals and things, so you got to watch the soap, and maybe you want to do it with just water and that, just to let everything out. That's going to be on you. The other thing that people talk about is, and I'm not endorsing any particular brand of water, is the spring water. You hear a lot of people talking about distilled water. I've heard different things about it. I alternate, and I think I'm okay with either or, but I like the spring water, and this is what I have. So I've been working through, throughout the day, and I was hearing different things about how you want to make sure you have your urine clean, clean and clear, and just you got to test what's right for you. Now I understand that there's some controversy. People are worried that the sodium potassium ion pump may be off balance, right? The sodium level is thrown off your electrolyte balance. But you know what's interesting is I'm agreeing with a lot of the people that are saying that it gives your body to a chance to renew. If you watch the videos too on intermittent fasting, and also what I know from evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology, see I'm putting that together, we did fast. We moved around, we were hunters and gatherers, and we did fast. We didn't always have the steady, constant basis of eating, 5 times or 6 times a day if you're a bodybuilder, right? Or 3 times a day, those meals they tell you. And you hear about people saying, having a big breakfast. And what's interesting about that, as far as having a big breakfast, is that especially if you had sugar, like in the fruits, they even, although it helps you to have the energy, they say, I've even heard of cases too where there's the spikes. So it's interesting. What I always hear just to stay focused here, is the cleansing process of the fast is important. So you get the spiritual and the mental purification, and it's a good time to break habits. Other clips may tell you that it's also a good time to let your family and friends know what's going on. So it's wonderful. What I did, which is a little different, is I didn't go to the gym today. So I went ahead and I drank a lot of water. Okay, and my schedule varies anyway, and I'm always pretty much home. So, and I'll do things, walk around or walk my dogs or do things like that. But what's interesting is when I slept, because you may feel tired. So I think what's really good is to do the fasting towards the weekend when your work week is going to be a little lighter, or ideally if you don't need to work during your fast, that would be great. But again, you would probably want to have medical supervision, or you'd have to really make sure this is even something that would work for you. There's some populations that can't do it with their specific unique situations. Obviously, if you have a medical condition or something like that, you want to definitely check with your doctor, as you would in any case. The other thing is the drinking the water. The feeling is that a lot of people are saying that your energy is freed up. And when I worked in the nutritional field, we used herbs, minerals, and vitamins. We're selling a lot of these, and I had to help people with different conditions. But one thing I found is it was pretty scary because I take these. I take things just to help with my circulation, my skin, my mood, my energy, just to have like a nice balance. So I was a little hesitant to not take anything. So what I did, it's interesting, I said, the 23rd hour I want to try something, and I like experimenting on myself. So what I did, and I'm not endorsing any particular energy brand, and I'm covering it up. So this is an energy drink. And so what I did is I actually drank one on the 23rd hour, so to observe the effects. So what I noticed is I had a headache or an earlier part of the day, and this is not representative of what you would have happened, what would happen for you. So what happened was I went throughout the day, and I had the headache. I was a little lethargic for the first 8 hours. It started getting better. I took a cat nap, and I was working too, so in between. And then I slept for 4 hours in the evening, got up, and I felt awesome. But then I took the energy drink. What I wanted to do was just to quickly see at the end of at the end of the day what the 0-calorie effect would be. Because it's 0 calories. What does that taste like? How sweet is everything? And it obviously is very sweet. It's intensified even within 24 hours. And then what I noticed was within 5 minutes I had a headache because it has caffeine. So I said, you know what? Note to self, on day 2 of the next, because I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm not going to have any, there's no caffeine, nothing. So I wasn't really doing, I just was experimenting at the end. But I'm going to drink another one. I'm going to go through this. And I want to share something else that happened. And this is to my psychic brothers and sisters that are out there. I was, during the afternoon, I was looking off to the side, and it happens like this. All of a sudden, I saw a car with taillights on a particular point in the street. And I've had things like this before. What was interesting is I looked in the distance, and it was kind of like remote viewing, except it didn't happen yet, and I'll explain what I meant. So about an hour later, I get outside at exactly a particular time. It's kind of crazy. And I see the same car driving down the street with the taillights in the same position. So what I've noticed, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this, but again, I didn't want to project anything onto this. I wanted to heighten any psychic abilities, spiritual and mental abilities. So I'm going through and then also any stuff that needs to come up, I want to have come up. I also think that it's a good time, and again, I'm not endorsing this or telling you what to do or anything like that, to listen to some subliminal, like binaural, theta wave type programs in the morning or at night. So, for example, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to listen for 20 to 30 minutes, and I have it right here in my computer, and you plug them in. So change your subconscious conditioning while you're fasting. Now, I know there are some people with fasting and they have silent retreats and all of this. I've never done one, and actually doing what I do, I would love to one day have that happen, but I can't take time off exactly just yet to do that where it's a silent retreat. So I believe that since your sensitivity is heightened, your state of consciousness is elevated, why not start reprogramming the subconscious? You see what I'm saying? So in the morning, 20 minutes upon awakening, and then when you're going to sleep, 20 minutes, right? You hear this, and hypnotists will tell you this, hypnotherapists, anybody, people, a lot of people in personal development. I also think it's not a bad idea throughout the day to just kind of start reprogramming and start playing that over and over. And now they even have you've heard of EMDR, right? The eye movement sensitive, what is it, reprogramming, desensitize, whatever it is, EMDR, right? I gotta look it up, but it's basically EMDR. So it's this, you could do it through your eyes, where you can reprogram, and you got to be careful. Again, check with a professional. But I went to a seminar on this, and it's pretty effective for, they say, short-term traumas or anxieties. But I don't know what it says. The literature says about the long-term. I think it's not necessarily proven. But what they find is it can give you kind of a boost in terms of dealing with the anxiety that you may have. So if you're listening to the EMDR stuff, again, check with a professional. What would be nice is, well, you can bring up some stuff that needs processing. So you're going to go through some fluctuations and things like that. And that leads me to another point. You may want to journal, okay? And you may want to journal, and you might want to, put your thoughts out there on paper and kind of see what's going on in your mind. But I think, and I really like the idea of intermittent fasting eventually as a way of life, but again, I'm not endorsing this or telling you what to do or not to do. Check with your doctor or health professional. But the idea of, they have the different phases and styles, and there's that combo with the 16-8 or the 24, right, where you're fasting for 20 hours and then you're eating for 4. And I like that, and I've heard from a lot of students too, by the way, and other people that have lost weight. They've lost weight and done things, or they would claim that drinking water and not eating before a certain time helps. One thing I also want to say is, do not think of this as a diet. And this has made a tremendous difference. I'm not going to show you my belly, but I'm starting to have like an 8 to 12 pack, okay? And it's pretty amazing. And what I've noticed has helped is simple changes like eliminating white flour, white salt, and white sugar, getting rid of a lot of that crap from my diet. I'm not telling you that you have to do that. So what helps is to stabilize the blood sugar. I'm interested in it for mood, okay? I'm interested in, how do I have emotional stability and emotional self-management, have insights, work productively, manage my life, and manage stress, and feel in control, and be of service to myself and others. And when I saw that not only the mental, emotional, the physical, and spiritual, everything's kind of linking up, and also the psychic abilities are there. What good that does to see a car ahead of time, an hour before it shows up, I don't know. But it's kind of exciting because I realize I'm more in tune. See, that's it. When you're elevating your state of consciousness, then, if you work from that, then it's kind of exciting because maybe you can get more hits, more intuitive hits, or but this would be the only reason. But also I've noticed that the joy that you have is just, it comes forth. Haven't you noticed that? When your body is not eating food, you feel that sense of elation. That, well, I got to be careful because you can also feel, you can eat, ice cream or something like that and feel elated. There can be different triggers that cause people to either eat or not eat, so you want to be careful. Again, check this out to see if this is for you. But I love the idea of clarification and purification and just cleaning the junk from your body. However, the studies are mixed on fasting, and you do have people that are for it and against it, and of course you have medically supervised fasts, and that would be the safest way to go, obviously. However, I like experimenting on myself, and I just wanted to see, and I'm going to journal tonight. I'm going to listen to 20 minutes of the binaural theta wave. I have a whole collection, and another video blog I will show you. But again, I'm not going to endorse any particular products or anything like that, but I will tell you, and I will talk about how, again, you can create your own hypnosis CDs and things like that. But I think with the fasting, I think what's different about this video clip is I am saying that it couldn't hurt. You know what I mean? To have the some sort of hypnosis CD or something at the end of your day, and then also in the beginning with the fasting. Now I know that some people say that you should fast and not have anything, and that's important too because you're emptying, your minimal contact, your minimal exercise, all those things. But I don't think that it depends. I mean, a lot of you might be drinking a lot of water and you might be working and you might not have the luxury of going to a wellness center and just hanging out for a few weeks or something like that. So what I decided was I would try it over the weekend, and get back into it. And so I'm planning on maybe a 3-day fast in this phase. So I'm just going to go for 3 days where I'm drinking water, 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 cleaning, and then I'm going to start shifting more to an the intermittent fasting. And so I'm going to do maybe, I love this idea of you drink water and then you eat for the 4 hours. You want to break it very carefully. As I said, prepare 7 to 10 days before. You're eating a lot of raw organic vegetables, cleaning out your system, and trying to get a lot of the crap out that way. And then as you go into the next, after you break your fast, and there are different videos on this. I'm sure you could find on YouTube about this. But as you break that fast, you want to be careful and you eat healthy afterwards. But then that idea of continuing the 2 days on, where you have the intermittent fasting and then one day off. Or some people will have the intermittent fasting throughout the week, and then on the weekend again they'll do something where they don't. I read one comment where one guy has 24 to 36 hours off once a week. Another person mentioned that their grandmother lived to be 100. And one of the things that she did was she had 1 day off a week. Now again, this is something you have to check. But what is important is that longevity is promoted. I study this. It's exciting, and I'll go into this in another clip. But a lot of the people that live to be over 100, centenarians, right? A lot of these people, one of the things that they do is they watch their diet. They have a high protein, low carb diet, a lot of omega oils. If you look in the island of Okinawa, Japan, right? There are a lot of people there that live to be over 100, and they have that high protein, low carb, the seaweed and the fish and the oils. It helps with the brain coating, the myelin sheath. But what's also important is the lean muscle mass. Having lean muscle mass and being fit and exercising. And then you can stay supple, the flexibility training and all of that. And it seems that fasting, if you combine fasting with whatever you're doing, again, check it out with your doctor. I would think at least you're going to get to a level where you're going to get a lot of the crap, free radicals and a lot of the junk, the toxins, at least at that time, from your body. You're removing it. You're going to notice your skin clearing. You're going to have the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, and also for those of you that like psychic stuff, you'll notice the psychic stuff it's happening. You'll have it anyway, the psychic stuff, if you're paying attention to it. But when you fast, I believe it's a way to heighten your psychic abilities. It'll be nice when I can come up with something more useful than just seeing the backs of cars an hour before. I'll let you know. And it's like, hey, that's a really cool hit. It does absolutely nothing for anybody, but it was just kind of funny, but it's a neat psychological phenomena as well, I think. So anyway, that's day 1 of fasting, and I will put another video blog on day 2. Now I feel by doing this I'm holding myself accountable. But if you feel this could be helpful, just feel free to share your thoughts and what you're thinking about doing. But again, this is not replacing any kind of medical or professional help, and I assume no liability for anything. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well, and good luck with whatever you're doing.